Hi, third graders. Welcome back to our reading workshop. And today we're going to be focusing on our second lesson in reading workshop. And so today we're actually going to take the time to reread a section or two from our class mentor text, Penguins, that we started to look through yesterday. And we're going to take the time though, and after we reread these sections, we're going to stop, think about what we read, and then paraphrase the important information that was displayed to us in the book. But we're going to keep an eye on any of those big important words, possibly the ones that are bold-faced, that really shouldn't be changed to our own meaning and own wording, that we need to keep those. So today's lesson will be lesson number 2. We're going to focus on paraphrasing the information that we read, and we're going to do that by thinking about everything we read and putting it into our own words. And then those important words that really shouldn't be changed, we'll keep those the same way that the author had them in the book. Okay, so first I'm going to go to our section yesterday that we read in Penguins, and it was titled, "What are Penguins?" And so I'm going to read this, and I notice that there's that bold-faced word, cold-blooded. And so after I read this section, I'm then going to think about it for a moment, and then I'm going to paraphrase in my own words what I just read. And by us doing that, that's going to help us remember what we learned, and will make us even a stronger reader with our comprehension. Okay, so here we go. What are penguins? Penguins may not look like other birds, but they are birds. Like all birds, penguins are covered with feathers. They're warm-blooded, which means their body stays the same temperature no matter how warm or cold their surroundings are. All birds, including penguins, hatch from eggs. All right, so I'm now going to take a minute and I'm going to see, okay, there was that keyword warm-blooded, so I need to make sure that I keep that in my paraphrasing. Think about what I just read. And now if I were to now share it with you or someone else in my family, how would I explain and paraphrase what I just read? And here's what I would say. So penguins are another type of bird, and they are still covered with feathers, and they actually still hatch from eggs like all other birds. A penguin, though, is unique because they are warm-blooded, and I learned that their body, that means that they keep the same temperature no matter the temperatures that they're surrounded by. And I think that's pretty much how I would paraphrase that. So I kind of went back and reset all those important things that I just read using some of my own words. All right, I'm going to go to one more section. And this section that we looked at yesterday was titled Many Penguins. Okay, so I'm going to read this, and then we're going to take a minute and think about how can we paraphrase and put this information that we read into our own words. So here we go. Listen closely. Many penguins. Penguins have different shapes and colors. Some penguins have only black and white feathers. Others, such as the emperor penguin on the left, have brightly colored patches of feathers. Special head markings help penguins recognize other members of their species. Some penguins, such as this rockhopper, have long crests of feathers on top of their head. Some crests are yellow and some are orange. Penguins also differ in size. The largest is the emperor penguin, which is about 120 centimeters, which is also 4 feet tall. The smallest is the blue penguin, and it is the size of a duck. All right, so now I'm going to think about what did I just read on these 2 pages? And were there any important facts in here that I should not change around into different wording? One thing that I took from that was the height of the penguin. So the largest height comes in usually about 4 feet tall. So that's an important fact that I shouldn't say, oh, they're about 2 feet tall. No, it's 4 feet, so it's 4 feet. But some of these other words that we just read about all the different types of penguins, I can put into my own words, and I can show you what I remember from my reading. So if I were to share this out, I would say There's many different types of penguins. There's penguins that are tall and they're around 4 feet tall. There's even some penguins that are small and they're like the size of a duck. And penguins have different like colored feathers, and they have different colored beaks, and some have different crests on their by their heads, and their colors can range from yellow to orange. And the penguins, because they all look a little different, they can be classified into different groupings. And there we go. I just paraphrased exactly what I read. And I also noticed that on this page, we had those pictures that we saw yesterday that have the captions. And as a reader, I would want to take the time to read over those too, because they're giving a little more detail about that type of penguin. Okay, so I have the next student chart, which will be posted right where you're finding this video in a different link. And this is the guide that you can follow so that you can paraphrase the information just like I did. And at the top says I can paraphrase information by putting it in my own words and doing it like this. So you can follow these bullet points right here. And these are the steps you can take when you're trying to take a moment after you read a section, and then you can put it in your own words. So readers, today what I'd like you to do is I want you to continue reading from the nonfiction book that maybe you found on Epic, or maybe you have your own nonfiction book, and I want you to go to that same book, and I want you to go back to a section or two that you read yesterday already, and I want you to try this. I want you to read the section again. I want you to focus in on any of those important words or key points that really can't really be tweaked too much. Remember those. And then after, then I want you to either talk to yourself, kind of like I am now, even though I'm talking to you, or share with a family member what you read by putting it in your own words. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. And that is going to help us remember the information that we're learning from our informational text. It'll help you to learn new things. It's going to be great for your comprehension. So you're showing us and you're showing yourself that you can remember what you read. And that's all things that we want to continue working on as a reader. And let's see. I'm going to see if there's any other points that I wanted to share with you on my notes. I think we're probably pretty good with that. So I hope you have a great day. I hope that you can find, around 20 to 30 minutes today to do some independent reading. And, I know we're focusing on nonfiction reading right now to go with our lessons, but later in the day, if you always want to read from a different genre, of course, please continue to do that too. Okay, readers? All right, third graders, have a great day and stay tuned for your next reading workshop lesson.